Hi and welcome. My name is Isabelle and thank you for joining me today. So, you made it past the trigger warning, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I highly recommend you go read the descriptions of this podcast as we will be discussing quite a few themes here that could be upsetting to certain people. Now, in light of this, it's not a doomsday podcast, it's not a luge factory. I'm not here to leave you feeling with dread and anxiety. That's not the point. And this is why I want to make this introductory video today, this introductory episode, to tell you a little bit about who am I, why I feel like I want to share my story in this part of my path, and what this podcast is about and what it is not. So, first thing first, my name is Isabelle and I'm currently 44 years old. I live in Ecuador, but I'm originally from Quebec, Canada. And without going into through all of my childhood, and because this will be covered in the podcast, essentially, I had a 20-year career with the Department of National Defence. The first 7 of them, I was in the military. I had a top secret clearance during the attack of 9/11. And then I was in the Rec Force, went overseas in the Persian Gulf for a deployment, came back, and then decided that it was not for me. So I went back to school as a civilian and got rehired back in the dockyard to repair warships and submarines for the military as a civilian, as a ticketed pipe fitter, a rail seal pipe fitter. So I had a 20-year journey with that before I was diagnosed. Well, I would say 3/4 of my career, like it was quite a few years ago, I was diagnosed with complex post-traumatic stress disorders. I had quite acute symptoms at the time. That was now looking back, like at the time, I was not aware how sick I was. But now looking back and feeling healthy, I'm like, wow, like it was really, really bad. But essentially, I could not exactly pinpoint why did I had such strong PTSD. Did I had trauma that I don't remember? Like it made no sense at all. Like I resonated with the diagnosis, yes, but there was part of me that was very confused with all of this. So essentially, that led me to remember extraterrestrial visitations. And to be fair, I did not believe it at first. I thought it was my mind playing tricks on me. I went through all kinds of scenarios to explain to myself how this could not be real. And I was not denying the presence of extraterrestrial beings. I just thought that because perhaps they exist and I happen to see them in my bedroom, doesn't mean that there could not be other logical explanations for it, because at the end of the day, at the time, I'm repairing submarine for the military. Like I'm a very logical person, no BS, mechanically inclined. So this was a whole journey, but eventually what happened is it brought about new ones. Essentially like extraterrestrial beings coming in my dreams and tell me we're coming. You're gonna see us, you're gonna see our ship, and they gave me a date, and it happened. And it was not an isolated accident or incident, I should say. But long story short, is it's been quite a journey for me to. It was life shattering. It changed everything I thought I knew about the world around me, about astronomy. Even though I was not an astronomer, but still, like the cosmos, consciousness, and it completely changed the neuroplasticity of my brain, because when we are in contact with intelligence that communicate telepathically, and it's like a tuning fork, like they emit something and our body adapt, and now next thing you know you have telepathic abilities. And I sought to understand how all of this was possible. What did they wanted with me? So essentially, what this podcast is about is the unfolding of all of the events, and starting in childhood. Like, do I have memories going there? Like, so I'm taking you on a whole journey of what happened. Like, how do you go on to live life and you're happy, and then you don't feel well, and then you diagnose, and then you start having like scary flashbacks. But that's the gist of it. What it is not about is I will not be sharing personal trauma here because we have this saying in French, laver son linge sale en famille. Um, that means like there's certain things we just don't go out and share publicly. Like there's certain things I just want to keep private to myself. It will not affect the flow of this part of my life that I'm sharing with you. It will not affect the authenticity of it because I'm crystal clear as to why I, like in my own process and I'm going to be sharing with you, it will not affect the veracity of my claims and of my experiences. And also, clearly, this is not a Hollywood production. I am not a native English speaker, so please, before giving with me, I will try my best. But it is really important to me that I share my story, and I don't want to over edit unless there's like something like somebody comes and knock on the door or something like this. I want to be raw. I want it to be unfiltered. If I'm start like dissociating because I'm remembering something that is unpleasant, then so be it. Like there's a reason why I'm choosing to do this in a podcast form and not just a written essay, because like just a text, like to have a human contact, there's information being transmitted through the sound of my voice, the emotions behind it. And once you just start writing an article, there's a certain dimension of humanness that is lost in translation. And I felt this story needed to be told this way. So why do I want to share my story? Because honestly, I feel there's a part of it. I'm going to try not to cry here, but that's the whole point of being honest here is a huge part of my trauma response in regards to these events is we live in a world that people don't really recognize extraterrestrial abductions, especially if you suffer from them. And here I want to make a parenthesis. Not all of my extraterrestrial abductions were bad. Like, yes, did I have PTSD? Yes. Did some horrible things happen? Yes. But there's also been a crew who came back to help me heal all of this, all of the trauma. But we don't live in a society where you can actually just go walk in a hospital and say, hey, like I had an experience with extraterrestrial beings. They put chips in my head and now I have headaches, splitting headaches every day. You can't do that. You can't just roll into a psychologist's office and say, yeah, like I had these scary experiences, because you don't know how they're going to react. Like they're going to filter the diagnosis according to their own belief system. So like I was left on my own scrounging really for my own healing, but not alone because I have other pleasant extraterrestrial experiences. But one of my trauma response was going overly scientific and analytical with it all, because there was a part of me that was crying to be taken seriously. And I figured if I could write beautiful articles about like, oh, look about the interactions that I have with extraterrestrial beings, and I would be taken seriously and it would have been validating for myself. But it's not the way the world works. I feel that by coming here and really talking about my experiences from a human being, a human aspect, not about trying to impress a certain community or being accepted or validated or and the likes. So I feel like it's an important part of my healing journey to just show up and yeah. So this is where we at. It's not a pity me party here. I want to let you know, like, despite like all the hardship that we're going to be uncovering here, I'm in a good place physically, emotionally. It's okay. I have peace with my past. I made peace with it all. I've spent many years integrating all of these experiences, and they left my life richer because of it. So yes, there's a big trigger warning at the beginning, but again, I'm not here to, it's not a fear-mongering podcast, like, hey, watch out, like hide your kids at night, lock your doors, wear your tinfoil hat. Like, this is not what it's about. It's just me sharing a story A lot of it is actually very beautiful. I've met some very kind people on this journey, people who really restored my faith in humanity, that have beautiful hearts, and I'm happy to share all of this with you. So please, if you're interested in this podcast, consider subscribing to my Substack, and so you won't be missing a new episode. And as you do, just relax. Relax. At the end of the day, I want you to receive this information from a place of openness, curiosity, whether you have had experiences like this for yourself, or maybe you're just curious as to what it is, or maybe it's just entertaining to you. And they're all good. Who am I to judge you? I'm not here to judge anyone. So please, whatever motivates you to listen, just make yourself comfortable and relax and receive. So thank you so much for being with me today, and I hope you come back.